Hello, everyone. Georgia Homsany here. Welcome to the Wellness Corner with Daily Dose. We thought it would be nice to interview a few different companies that have wellness programs in place to give you a taste for what other companies are doing and what seems to be working and best practices. So our first guest is Sam Whiteside. Sam is the Chief Financial Officer at the Motley Fool, which is a financial media company in Alexandria, Virginia. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you. It's awesome to be here.
Same. So why don't you just start telling us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been with the Motley Fool, and if you came in as this wellness role, or when was that developed?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have been in workplace wellness for probably around 11 years now. I have worked at a college in South Florida. I have worked for an insurance company in Southwest Virginia, and finally landed at the Fool about a little over 7 years ago. So when I came to the Fool, we had a really robust, I would say, physical fitness program, right? That's the easy thing to get people moving, to get people to participate in an occasional workout or yoga class, personal training sessions. So we're really solid on that front. There was a great fool by the name of Ben. He ran that program, and he was actually in our tech department. And our CEO found out that he was interested in wellness and personal training. And he was like, you know what, do that here. Like, still do your regular job, back off a little bit from that, take a couple hours and see if this kind of, grows legs, and it did. And he eventually actually left the company and started his own personal training business. And that's when I came in and really kind of used that amazing footing that he set for us and kind of blew that up into what we have now.
Okay. Wow. Great. So talk to us a little bit about the program specifically, because when we say wellness, it is quite a broad topic that could include a lot of different elements. So for us at Daily Dose, we focus more on the mental aspect, but talk to us a little bit about what your program entails.
Yeah. So like I mentioned, it's really easy to get people moving. It's not easy to get people to kind of change their behavior around food, right? We love what we love, and no one should take that away. So I really focused in on nutrition, behavior change, making small incremental changes that will really make a lasting impact. I designed our wellness program so you can pick and choose what you participate in. I like to say that everyone has a different wellness journey and different passions, and I put them all on the same playing field, and I respect them all the same. So for example, I had one fool who loved to work out with a sledgehammer. Yes, I immediately was like,
Word liability.
I know. I was like, you signed the waiver, right? Like the gym waiver and the wellness waiver. But that it was functional fitness to him, right? And it was strength, it was cardio, right? It was core, it was flexibility. It got him moving away from his desk, right? And I asked him, I was like, how many sledgehammers do you need, right? And what are the weights that you need them of? And he told me what he needed. I used my wellness budget, bought him a bunch of sledgehammers. They called it hammer time when they were in the office, and they literally would just throw it over their shoulder, and it looked like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs were like walking down the hallway with their sledgehammers to go to the fitness center and do their sledgehammer workout. So things like that, you really have to set the precedent that everything that people are interested in matters. And so that was really a huge learning experience for me, because when he first told me, I was like, how much of a workout can a sledgehammer be? Oh, I participated in one sledgehammer workout. I almost knocked my shin off, but it was a workout, right? And so being able to understand and be empathetic and meet people where they are and not where you think that they should be is super crucial. So we focus on, we call mental health, brain health at the Fool. I knew coming in that, especially in a finance company, and we're a company that moves so fast, and we're very project oriented, that sometimes stress is just kind of underlying. So I call it brain health. it gets people to start to recognize that, right? Like, what is up here? Everyone has one. We need to take care of it. It's just as important, if not more important, than everything else we've got going on, right? You can do your cardio, you can do your strength, your powerlifting, your whatever. But if you're not taking care of your brain, you're not really going to be getting the best out of that workout. You're not going to be the best person at work. You're not going to be the best person at home. So we have free on-site yoga. We have a meditation app of your choice, up to $75 per year. You just send me the receipt, right? So giving people choice. I don't want to put things and wellness inside of a box, right? I personally love Calm and Insight Timer for my meditation, but that might not be everyone's jam, right? So you get to pick your meditation app. You just send me the receipt. And so that has really made the difference in our wellness program, making sure people know that they have choice and that what they care about and what they're interested in matters to me just as much as it does to them.
Right. Yeah, I think that's an important piece of it, because there is not one program that can fit every single company. You know, some companies may have employees that are in a different life stage, or that don't like yoga or ergonomics or a particular topic. So it really is important to customize. And I think that becomes a lot more difficult the bigger you get, right? So if you're at a smaller company, you know, you might be able to implement a sledgehammer workout class. But for companies of any size, really, what would you say is needed in order to get that engagement? Because that's one of the biggest things that comes up in companies that have tried a wellness program that maybe hasn't been successful. They'll say to me, you know, we tried that and no one signed up for it. So it seems like at your company, there is a high level of engagement. So what would be your recommendations for getting employees engaged and even letting them know about the programs, right? Because I've reached out to so many people that have said, I don't know if we do wellness. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you not know? If the company's spending money and the employees don't know, it's just such a mess. So talk to me about engagement.
Yeah, that's a great point and a great question. For me, you have to create a wellness program that people want to participate in. So the number one stakeholder is the individual, are the people of your organization. That is the number one stakeholder, right? So sending out a survey, like talking to people. Like I always had, at least when we were in the office, I had what I called my special sunflower list. And those were like the people, the fools that were like unattainable, right? Like they didn't participate in culture stuff. They didn't come to happy hours. They didn't come to company events. They were sure as heck not going to come to a yoga class, right? I intentionally sought them out, right? What would you be interested in? Your opinion matters just as much as the person who runs a marathon every 2 to 3 weeks, right? If not more. So building those relationships, you have to have those relationships in place. And when I first came to the Fool, we used to have a first Friday was kind of like the day that all new Fools started, and you walked around with like a cart and like goodies were in the cart and you handed it out to Fools. Well, my cart happened to be alcohol. It was beer. And one of the recruiters messaged me or, reached out to me before I started, and she was like, are you okay with this? I was like, yeah, like I drink beer, I eat pizza too, just like anyone else, right? And so immediately setting that precedent that I literally had, I don't know what it was, I'm not a huge beer drinker, but I had something in my hand intentionally because I wanted people to know that I am not up here and you're down here. We're all on the same playing field, right? So you have to set that level of trust. And I think because of that and the way that I have made that everything is completely opt-in and not we're forcing you into this pedometer challenge that is absolutely the worst thing you can do, right? I'm never going to hold a weight loss challenge ever. So I think people started to realize that I was there for them. I wasn't there on anyone's agenda. I wasn't there to mark a box on, HR's, to-do list. I wasn't there, right? I was there for good intention. And from that and the way that we've designed our wellness program out, we continually have 85 to 90% engagement in our wellness program, which is absolutely unheard of, right? Like it's huge. So a typical wellness program, the the pedometer challenge and you get your flu shot every year, right? And you know, HR checks that box. Yep, we have a wellness program. We get a small incentive from our insurance company. Those are the programs that receive anywhere from 10 to 30% engagement. Why would you want to participate in that, right? Like, it feels forced, and you know why a company or your employer is running it is because they're not doing it for you. They're getting a small kickback from their insurance company. So
yeah,
we definitely put individual fools first. We're a growing company, and I'm only one person, so I'm not exactly sure how much longer I'm going to be able to continue to give a lot of individual attention. I'm going to do it as long as I can, and I think it might just have to turn into more like small groups. I do have wellness onboarding, so it's a big part of our culture. You have just a class on wellness when you're a new hire. So, you know, we talk about the free virtual yoga, the daily meditation, the race subsidies, find your fitness adventure subsidy, where every fool has a certain dollar amount that you get to buy whatever you want, health or wellness related, you know, a ski pass, rollerblades, swim lessons with your kid, a bike rack for your car. I don't care what it is. And you get 50% of that back in your paycheck. A new pair of running shoes, right? Hiking boots. Whatever it is, a sledgehammer, right? I had one fool, I reimbursed her for gardening equipment because that was her wellness initiative. And getting your hands in the dirt and being outside has proven benefits for our health. Yeah. So getting people to understand that we have all of these programs, we have just a special class of onboarding just for our wellness program, and people remember that, and they really do appreciate it.
Yeah. So it sounds like customization is the key, and really leading with the fact that this is for the employees and getting that feedback from them, which I totally agree with you. Our first step when we're working with a company is send out a survey and let's see what they're even interested in. And not just the activities, but time of day. Some people may want to participate on their lunch break. Some may want to do it before the workday. So really getting that feedback, I'm hearing, is something that you have prioritized, which has been working for you. So talk to me about ROI, because that's the other big question I get. So it's engagement and how do we justify this? So how do you track what you're spending? Because for us, again, that's key, because if you're spending thousands of dollars a year on a wellness program, you're going to have to be able to justify it in some capacity to upper management. So how does the Fool do that? And just to let people know, how many employees do you have? Is it about 80?
Oh, no, we have anywhere from, I think we just hired close to our 500th employee.
Oh, 500. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So 500 employees.
So I'm busy.
I think I was looking on LinkedIn, maybe only 8 are on LinkedIn. So 500 employees, just to give anyone who's listening an idea of what size company the Fool is. But go ahead and just talk to us about tracking and ROI and how you measure.
Yeah, so I think, and this is going to be probably hard for some people to hear and or understand, we are such an anomaly with that. I am very, very lucky that senior leadership and our CEO, Tom Gardner, fully trust in me to do my job and to allocate however I choose to with my wellness budget. So we have, I typically spend anywhere from $300 to $325 per employee per year. And I don't have to justify that, which is amazing. Tom is absolutely the fire that really lit our wellness program and continues to keep it going. He's a total believer. He is very health conscious himself. And so having his blessing and support has really made the ultimate difference for me and how I feel in my work. I have been at other places where that was not the case. And there have been intentional roadblocks put in my way. So the wellness program really wouldn't get that much oomph. And you're going to have organizations of both, and you're going to have organizations that are kind of somewhere in between. I am luckily on the far end of the spectrum, way out in left field, where I get to hang out kind of by myself. And it's been in a meeting. I continually keep an eye on our quarterly health claims, though, and I definitely keep an eye on our claims drivers. We're very low with chronic disease, and I continually, I don't necessarily only attribute that to our wellness program, but our wellness program does play a part in our low numbers of chronic disease. We don't have very much diabetes, right? We don't have very much heart disease. We also have a lower population as far as our age and our demographic, but we're a healthier company, right? Mm-hmm. We're not having long hospitalization stays. We're not having lots of, the biggest thing I see sometimes is musculoskeletal injuries, right? And I'm one of them, right? I tore my ACL, I ruptured ligaments in my ankle, right? Somebody messed up their shoulder because they were too aggressive with that tennis, right? Whatever it is. That's what I keep track of. I very heavily really analyze our healthcare claims. So if those healthcare claims are kind of getting, looked at, paid and pushed aside, I encourage companies to really start to understand and really, really analyze those healthcare claims. Do your claims also match your prescriptions, right? Or is there some sort of gap in care? Do you have a high population of type 2 diabetes or thyroid issues or anxiety and depression and stress, right? Your claims will start to give you some of that information, and that's where you can start to guide some of your programming. So I started to see more anxiety and depression in our claims. And myself being one of them, I am naturally a very anxious person, right? So I that was when I really started doubling down on our brain health. I brought in Joyable, which is the digital health tool. We now have up to $150 of mental health coverage. So if you were to go out of network for an appointment with your mental health therapist, we cover $150 of that. And that's amazing. If
so
typically if you're out of network, you're typically kind of on your own. And we don't want fools to feel that way. So we brought in counselors if there's been any sort of trauma in the office, or you've had an employee or something pass away, or there's something has gone on right in the world. Hello, 2020. We've brought counselors in that we talk to as small groups, and you could actually book an appointment with them on your own privately. We have in-office massage, in-office chiropractic, in-office manicures and pedicures, right? Like, give the people what they want. If somebody wants, we've even had in-office acupuncture, right? So don't think that wellness has to look a certain way, and be open and willing to trying something completely new and different and funky, like sledgehammer workouts.
Yep. Right. And I think when people think about wellness programs, the first things that come up are diet and working out. And those are sort of the, two starting points for a lot of people. But that's why we try and play up the mental health, or as you call it, brain health, because especially with the pandemic, so many more people we're seeing are struggling with anxiety and depression, even more so than before. But it's this unmet need. And a lot of it, because people don't want to talk about it, you might not even know that your employees are suffering from it. So in the past year, Sam, with people having to go remote, how has that impacted your program? And have you had to shift to virtual wellness, and has that affected your engagement?
That's a great question. When March hit, I was like, oh gosh, what are we going to do, right? All of this stuff is so, hands-on. A lot of it was HQ or Alexandria based. So our fools in Denver, and our fools who are work from home all over the United States, our fools in Australia, and Asia and UK, right? Like, they weren't able to participate in the stuff that was, focused just in our Alexandria office. And so I really thought it was going to be a negative thing, and I thought our engagement was going to take a hit. I worked very quickly and very hard. Our meal delivery service with Territory Foods, I had that switched to remote. So literally those meals that you were ordering that were getting delivered to the office are now getting delivered to your home. Mm-hmm. We switched our yoga to completely virtual. Our meditation was already virtual because some Colorado Fools run that for me. And my workouts that I lead on Tuesday, Thursday mornings, I switched to virtual. My kettlebell classes, I switched to virtual. I have not switched spinning classes yet. I don't have I have my road bike set up in my dining room, so it's not exactly the most aesthetic and user-friendly spin studio. But we really quickly transitioned. I take personal training appointments over Zoom. I do injury assessments over Zoom. I do mobility sessions over Zoom. All wellness onboarding is now on Zoom. So it's really, really made a difference as far as kind of leveling the playing field. Our work from home fools for the longest time felt left out. We don't have a yoga class. We don't have access to Sam. We can't get, we don't get to participate in pizza day or cake day and it was true because all of that was very office focused. And now everyone is seeing out of the same lens. So we have Australia Fools and Germany Fools and Denver and Tennessee Fools who are coming to a Tuesday or Thursday yoga class now. And it's just blowing my mind. With Zoom, we have the capability of recording all of these fitness classes. So I'm now having I have a huge library database of all of the wellness classes, some of my wellness classes, and all of the things that we did for our well-being week. So it's literally helped our engagement if that was even possible.
Yeah, and that's a big component too. You mentioned the recording. When we do our webinars, people always ask, are they recorded? Because you have people in different time zones, or we get manufacturer workers sometimes that can't get off the floor to attend a lunchtime webinar. So that's another key component is the recording. So what would you give, what advice would you give to companies that maybe don't have a budget set aside for wellness like the Fool does? So more of those companies that are struggling to justify the cost, or maybe HR believes in it, but they have to sell it into the CEO. I mean, some companies I would imagine are saving on things like T&E or catered lunches in the office where perhaps they can put those funds towards wellness. But anything else that comes to mind, Sam, that you would, advice you would give to maybe a smaller company or a company that just doesn't have that budget yet?
Absolutely. First of all, find out what your people do in their spare time. And for us as Fools, my coworkers are my friends and my friends are my coworkers. So I know what everyone does in their spare time. So you might have to build some of that rapport, but I guarantee you might have somebody on staff who is a personal trainer or a group fitness instructor or a yoga instructor, right? You might have that talent already inside your company. Utilize that person. Ask them if they would like to teach something and pay them for it. I would encourage you to pay them for it. Don't just use their talent. So that's number one. Number two, there are so many free resources out there. YouTube is amazing. I constantly recommend Yoga with Adrienne on YouTube. I know. She is amazing. So start setting up just time in people's calendars that if they would like to participate in a Yoga with Adrienne class on YouTube, and just see if everyone wants to do the same class. You don't have to turn your Zoom on or your videos on. Everyone just kind of does it on their own, and it's just self-accountability. But at least you start to form a group and you talk about it, and you designate time for these things. And Insight Timer and Calm, all of these apps have free versions. So really start to capitalize on what is out there that is already free. So don't try and reinvent the wheel. You don't need to do that. I love Insight Timer because they have a lot of what are called yoga nidras. So that's yoga sleep. So that's kind of how I slowly sneak meditation in to people who are like, oh, I'm not gonna, I can't meditate, I can't sit still. And I'm like, yes, you can. You're choosing not to, but that's a different conversation. But yeah, so introduce people to yoga nidras, right? And Insight Timer, that app I think has over 40,000 meditations on it or something for free. So, and the Nike Training Club is an amazing fitness app that has pre-programmed workouts for you. So just getting people to know that this stuff is out there, it's free, getting them the information and making sure that they feel that they can take time during the workday to get a workout in, do a workout, a yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, to take 10 minutes and do a quick yoga nidra, and you wake up and you feel refreshed, like you took a 2-hour power nap, right? Just making sure that all of that stuff is in place. It's free, it's out there, but you have to kind of set the line as far as the company culture goes, that this stuff is encouraged. It's not only accepted and acceptable, but it is encouraged.
Right. Yeah, that's good advice, because I always tell people, even if you can't afford a wellness program, just doing something, I would encourage you to do things like that, those free resources. I think when you look at the investment standpoint, there's a lot of data out there how incorporating a wellness program lowers healthcare costs, like you had talked about that a lot. Retention rates, which how much are companies spending on training new employees? So if you have happy employees, they want to stay at the company, and wellness does tie into that. But I think for us, what we've seen is consistency, and really incorporating it into the culture is key. So ideally, yes, you would have a program that is maybe the same time on Tuesdays and no one's scheduling meetings at that time because that's yoga hour. So ideally, you would want consistency, building the plans based on what the employees want, and then having some sort of metric to tie it, whether it is tied to financial or it's just well-being and culture, right? It goes back to that happiness. But as Sam said, at the very least, at least let your employees know about the free apps that are out there, trying to see if someone could do a class in between, because any wellness is better than no wellness, in my opinion.
I agree. I highly agree. And making sure that your employees know that wellness just doesn't look like one thing, right? Like if somebody chooses to participate in yoga, that's great. If they take that hour that's dedicated for yoga that they didn't, that they luckily didn't have a meeting, and they choose to walk outside and get fresh air, amazing, right? Like right now, I'm running a 3.5 or so week challenge where it's encouraging people to get outdoors and exercise when the sun is up. So vitamin D and movement, that is our challenge this month, right? And vitamin D has so many positive benefits, right? And it's a fat soluble vitamin. So if that drops low, there are so many detrimental impacts that can also happen. So natural vitamin D, getting your body moving. I don't care what exercise you're doing. Don't care at all. As long as you're being safe about it and wearing a helmet if you need to wear a helmet, right? And putting on sunscreen. So that's what we're doing this month. So again, you can also run really easy challenges like that, right? That start to change people's behavior or people's mindset. I found that 4 weeks, typically anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks, kind of 4 weeks is our sweet spot. Challenges at the Fool makes all the difference in the world. So we'll do a 4-week hydration challenge where you track your water every day, right? Trying to eventually build up to adequate hydration, which is around 50% of your body weight, give or take, depending how active you are. We've done hours of connecting with your community challenge, right? So volunteering, acts of kindness, acts of service, things like that. We've done Taste the Rainbow challenge, which does not involve Skittles, which I'm sure people would have been excited to participate in that challenge. But it was how many different colors of the rainbow in fruits and vegetables can you eat in one day, right? So, and 4 weeks of that. So it really got people to start to understand different colors have different micronutrients and different positive health impacts. And they were maybe only eating green and red. And now they're eating, whites and blues and oranges and yellows as well. So 4-week challenges has been our sweet spot. I like to try and encourage companies to do the same. Never do a pedometer challenge, y'all. Please never do a pedometer challenge. Don't do a pedometer challenge, okay? Like, it's the worst, okay? Get creative, get funky. Like, we've done some really crazy stuff. I've done caffeine reduction challenges. People hated me, but I didn't care. Like, I still love y'all
because it's not easy.
Right. Yeah. We've done meatless meal challenges, right? Just getting people to think differently about their health and well-being.
Right. Okay. And what's your favorite healthy habit you want to leave us with?
Oh gosh, favorite healthy habit. I love
favorite thing that you've done at the Fool. It could be either in work or not.
Okay.
Was it the sledgehammer? Was that your favorite work?
No, because I almost lopped off a leg. I think at work, my favorite thing just really has to be teaching different types of group fitness classes. I really love seeing different types of people. And when I mean types of people, I mean a fool who works in BI, a fool who is in marketing, a fool who's in legal, a fool who is in investing. All of those fools come together and we're literally all just sweating and working out and minding our own business. And I don't care what you're doing. He doesn't care what she's doing. Right. And there's so much community and camaraderie that comes from that. I like to call that intentional points of collision. And so I set up intentional points of collision just for that purpose, right? I didn't love teaching 1 to 2 classes every day for 5 days a week, right? I was pretty exhausted when I was in the office, and I was constantly running around. But I knew that there was power of intentional points of collision. So they were going to take that relationship that they're starting to build in Fool Fitness back to their desk, back to their teams, and they're going to use that relationship to somehow enhance the business, right? They're going to call on that person and say, because they know they have that relationship, and it's going to be work related, and it's going to drive our bottom line. And so creating those intentional points of collision is super important.
Yeah. So, and I think having them during the workday too is essential, because a lot of times I hear companies say, "Oh yeah, we have a wellness program. Like, we have an app that they can use on their own time." And it's like, but that's something that then they have to do outside of the workday, and they have to prioritize taking away time from their family or something they want to do to then prioritize health. Whereas if it's incorporated into the workday, I mean, who wouldn't want to take a workout class with you, Sam, versus sitting at their desk for another hour? So I think that's a huge component too, is just really incorporating into the workday so people don't feel like it's another thing they have to do outside of work, which is where we're spending all of our time. And to your point, engaging them in that way and bringing people from all different departments to just kind of leave your stuff at your desk and just be here and be present, I would think not only bonds people, but then they're going back and having a better attitude the rest of their day.
Absolutely. And I like that you said be present, because one of the biggest things that I've seen from our wellness program, and we talked about ROI, but a decrease in presenteeism, right? So presenteeism is when you're at work, but your brain's not there, right? And your mind is somewhere else, right? You're focusing on, like, I've got so much else to do. I've got a sick parent at home. I've got finance stuff that I'm worried about, right? High student loan debt. Hi, I see you. So that really helps reduce presenteeism. It obviously helps reduce absenteeism, right? Like, you have more people who are taking less 6 days, but that presenteeism, right, is you have people who are engaged in the work, engaged in the culture, because they are taking care of themselves in mind, body, and spirit.
Right. Thank you so much. This was very valuable. Any last comments you want to let people know, or closing remarks?
Oh gosh.
You shared so much today already, and it's so encouraging to see a company that places such importance around wellness. So congrats to you and your CEO and everyone that participates, all 80% plus engagement that you're getting over there. That is definitely at the high end of things that we should all be striving for.
Yeah, I am very, very grateful and thankful for my job and the work that I do, and the company that I work for. I know I have an impact. I know I'm appreciated, And so I think just any parting words of wisdom is that if you want to start a wellness program at your company, again, don't ever assume what your people need. Meet them where they are and ask them what they want, and tell them to not limit themselves, right? I always have a huge space in our survey. If you had unlimited funds, what would you add to our wellness program, right? And start there and then trickle down. Start with the moon, right? And you'll land with the stars. So
love that. Thank you so much, Sam Whiteside from the Motley Fool. We appreciate you being with us today, and thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye.